So why rural?
Well, I didn't. I grew up out in the country, and I don't know if I knew anything different than growing up out in the country where everybody had cows and pigs and chickens and always plenty to eat. You had a garden, and really never realized anything different as far as city life. Never knew what that was until a little bit older. Then we'd go to town, and Ma would bring probably a dressed chicken to town and sell it for 25 cents or whatever it was at that time. And otherwise, I never knew what town was. And that was later. That was maybe when I was like 6, 7, 8 years old.
So what's special about rural? What was?
Well, I don't know if I can answer that. You know, like I say, I don't know if I would do anything different. I'd probably grow up on the country anyway, even if I didn't know anything different. That's about all I can say.
The tractor pull with you?
So what are you still living in rural?
No, I'm living in town, right in Warren here.
So how do you reflect on your rural childhood?
Well, I can't say there's anything bad about it. Not really, you know. Never had any money to go anywhere, so you know, you just never always had chores to do. That's about it.
So what's special about rural? Growing up, in your perception of growing up, and what was special about it?
Well, I think you probably learn how to live out in the country with always had plenty to eat, learned how to raise the garden, and did some bundle pitching when I got a little bit older into a thrashing machine. That's before the combine days. And fed the chickens and milked the cows. Always had chores to do.
What's your memory of being a kid and the engines coming into the farm?
My dad bought a one-horse mogul. That's the forerunner of the McCormick Deering for $3 at an auction sale when I was just a little kid. I can't remember how old I would have been at all. It was before I could remember age or anything like that. So, and I was always fascinated with that engine. Always fascinated. You know, sometimes it wouldn't start, and and my dad used that for pumping water, cleaning grain, whatever they had to use it for, washing clothes on the washing machine, belted up to the washing machine. And that's my recollection of old engines. And when I retired from mechanicking, I picked one up that was under the water by the river for many years, and I worked on that thing for about 3 years before I got it loose and got it running. And that's the end one over there. I still got it, and I started this maybe 25 years ago. And I've restored well over 100. And I sell some and buy some more. If I sell them, I get what I got in them. Some of them I didn't put much into them. I got them for nothing. Out of behind the barn, in the trees, by the river, underwater every year. But you can't find them anymore. They're all picked up.
Yeah, or scrapped out.
Yep. And when World War II came along, before I went into the service, you were picking up scrap iron, and a lot of these engines just got busted up and shipped out for scrap iron.
Except the ones in the river.
Yeah, well, some of them got parked behind the trees or in the trees behind the barn, you know, and every one of those that I picked up like that, they were stuck solid, and I'd work on them for maybe a whole year before I'd get them loose.
Yep.
You didn't force anything, because if you did, you would break something, so you didn't do that. just took your time and got them loose, and whatever it needed after that, and you got them running, and you can still get parts for them. There's old self-taught machinists that'll make a part for you.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So, what happened in the war? You went into World War II,
Yep.
and so you're running the engines up till then.
No, I ran a officer boat in at the Marshall Islands during the atom bomb test, and that had a Chrysler 6-cylinder flathead engine in it. And that thing would give a lot of trouble, and I'd get it running.
Yep.
That's and that's kind of where I got started on getting engines to run, was in there.
Yep.
And that mogul that my dad had years ago, that went into the scrap. And then when I started restoring engines, I was looking for one, and I found one. A fella east of Thief River had one that advertised. So I went to look at it, and I bought it. And I can't remember what I paid for it. It wasn't much. And I restored it and got it running. And then when I got it running, another fella came along, maybe 2-3 years later. And he wanted a mogul, one-horse mogul, in the worst way. So I sold it to him. I don't remember what I got for it, but by that time I had a lot of them. So I didn't care if I sold one or not. And I still got too many. It's a hit-and-miss engine.
So when did you stop using these on the farm? What year?
Well,
under load?
We didn't get electricity until I came back from the service. And that would have been in the late 40s, and we finally got electricity. Otherwise, these engines were doing everything.
Up till the late 40s.
Yep. There was no electricity.
So you came back to them from the war.
Yeah. Yeah. There she goes.
So why rural?
Well, actually, when I was growing up, I don't think I knew anything different.